You're watching the AHA method. Here's a question worth sitting with. If you have a crush on someone, is honesty actually your best strategy? Or does the smart move stay hidden? There is a real, proven mathematical answer to that. It comes from the same algorithm that pairs up entire rooms of people by preference, the one actually used to match new doctors to hospitals. We will get to the crush answer. First, here's the algorithm itself. Quick, ask before we start. If hidden trade-offs like this are your kind of thing, tap like and subscribe. It's the only reason channels like this keep getting made. Alright, let's get into it. And yes, we will come back to that crush. 4 people. 4 other people. Everyone has their own private ranking of who they'd prefer to end up with. It sounds like chaos. Somebody's top choice is bound to want somebody else instead. Somebody has to lose. This exact structure shows up anywhere 2 separate groups have to be paired up by preference. Dating apps, yes, but also job markets, sports league drafts, and who gets into which hospital. Here's the actual guarantee, proven with total mathematical certainty. There is always a way to match everyone so that no 2 people would both rather ditch their partners for each other. Notice exactly what that promise does not say. It doesn't say everyone is happy. It doesn't say the outcome is fair. This starts in January 1962 in the American Mathematical Monthly with a paper by David Gale and Gale-Shapley. Its title, College Admissions and the Stability of Marriage. 2 different sounding problems, solved by exactly the same proof. Neither author set out to write a dating paper. Gale was a mathematician working on game theory and optimization. Shapley, also a mathematician, would spend decades developing the tools that eventually became the field of market design. First, the obviously broken approach. So you can feel why this problem is genuinely hard. What if everyone just goes straight for their number 1 choice, all at once? 2 different proposers want the same person. Only one can have them. Now what? A one-shot free-for-all simply doesn't tell you what to do next. Here's the actual procedure, called deferred acceptance. Round by round, everyone still unmatched proposes to their favorite person left on their list. Each receiver looks at every proposal they got this round and holds on to the one they like best, but only provisionally. Nothing is final yet. That word deferred is the whole trick. A receiver is allowed to trade up later if someone better comes along. So an early hold is never a real commitment. Everyone else who proposed gets rejected, crosses that name off their list for good, and proposes to their next favorite name next round. Repeat that exact cycle until a round goes by with 0 rejections. That's it. That's the whole algorithm. Notice everyone proposes at once each round, not one at a time in some arbitrary order. That detail turns out not to change the final answer at all, a fact Gale and Shapley also proved, though we won't need the details here. Let's actually run it, on a real example, so you can watch it happen instead of just hearing about it. Zoe, Max, Ivy, and Theo are proposing. Nova, Kai, Ash, and Ray are receiving. Each of the 8 has their own private ranked list of the other 4. Zoe's list, most preferred first, is Kai, then Nova, then Ash, then Ray. Nobody else on the board can see it. That's exactly why this can get messy. Round 1. Everybody proposes to their number 1 choice. Max goes for Nova, Ivy and Zoe both go for Kai. Theo goes for Ash. Kai has 2 suitors this round and picks the one she prefers, Ivy. Zoe is rejected on her very first attempt. Max and Theo, meanwhile, are having a much easier time. Nova and Ash both happen to be free, so both holds land instantly, with 0 drama. Round 2. Zoe crosses Kai off her list forever and proposes to her second choice, Nova. But Nova already prefers her current hold, Max. Zoe is rejected again. Round 3. Zoe tries her third choice, Ash. Ash already prefers her current hold, Theo. Zoe strikes out for a third straight round. Round 4. Zoe has exactly one name left on her entire list. Ray, the person she ranked dead last. Ray is unmatched, so she holds Zoe. 0 rejections this round. Done. Look at what just happened to Zoe specifically. Her first choice said no. Her second choice said no. Her third choice said no. She ends up with the one person on her entire list she liked least, and this matching is still, provably, stable. Meanwhile, Max, Ivy and Theo each landed a hold in the very first round and never had to move again. Same algorithm, wildly different personal experiences. Look at the finished board as a whole. 4 proposals accepted immediately, one that took 4 attempts, 0 rejections left standing anywhere. Nothing here was designed to be fair to Zoe specifically. It was only ever designed to be stable. Those are 2 different goals, and only one of them was promised. That word stable is doing very specific, very narrow work here. Let's define it properly. A matching is unstable if there's some proposer and some receiver, not paired together, who both prefer each other over the partner they're currently stuck with. That's called a blocking pair. 2 people with both the motive and the mutual opportunity to walk out on their assigned partners together. Stable simply means 0 blocking pairs exist anywhere in the whole matching. Nothing more, nothing less. To see why that specific definition matters, look at a small matching that seems completely fine at first glance. But Zoe secretly prefers Nova over her own assigned partner, and Nova secretly prefers Zoe too. Both of them would rather be together than stay where they are. That's a blocking pair. This matching, despite looking perfectly reasonable, is unstable, and deferred acceptance is built specifically to never produce this. In the real world, a blocking pair isn't just a footnote in a proof. It's an arrangement that quietly falls apart on its own, the moment the 2 people involved compare notes. So let's check our actual result from before. Scan every single non-matched pair on this board, all 12 of them, one at a time. Not one of them has both people preferring each other over their actual partner. No blocking pair exists anywhere. Confirmed stable. Here's a genuinely remarkable fact. A stable matching is guaranteed to exist for any set of preferences at all, no matter how tangled or contradictory they look. Gale and Shapley didn't just claim this, they proved it the constructive way, by proving their own algorithm always finds one. That's not a given in mathematics. Plenty of similarly simple-sounding matching problems have no guaranteed solution at all. Existence had to be earned, not assumed. Now, here's the part that actually matters most. Take a fresh, simpler example. 3 people proposing, 3 people receiving. Their preferences form a deliberate cycle. Everyone's first choice is somebody else's second choice, in a loop, with no easy consensus favorite for anyone. Run deferred acceptance with this side proposing, and something striking happens. Every single one of them gets their number 1 choice. All 3. Now rerun the exact same preferences. Nothing changed, except this time, the other side proposes instead. Every single person on this side now gets their number 1 choice. And the people who used to get their favorite? Now they get their least favorite. Every one of them. Same 3 people. Identical preferences. Unchanged. The only variable that moved was who proposed, and it flipped every single outcome completely. This isn't a quirk of this one example. It's the actual theorem, proven in the original 1962 paper. Whoever proposes gets the best partner mathematically possible for them, in any stable matching that could exist. And simultaneously, not as a separate coincidence, but as the mirror image of the same proof, Whoever receives gets the worst partner mathematically possible for them, among all stable matchings. Here's the intuitive reason why. A proposer only ever moves down their own list after a rejection. So wherever they finally land is the best any stable arrangement could have given them. A receiver, meanwhile, only ever trades up. They hold their best offer so far, and only replace it with something they like even more. Whatever they're left holding at the end is as good as it was ever going to get for them, and often far worse. You'll sometimes hear this algorithm described as guaranteeing that everyone secures their best possible logical outcome. Say that out loud, and it sounds wonderful. It is also simply false, and this video isn't going to repeat it as if it were true. The honest version has two separate halves. The proposing side gets its best possible stable outcome. The receiving side gets its worst. Nobody gets everything, true. Everyone gets their best, not true. And which half you land on depends entirely on which side of the table you're sitting at. This isn't a minor footnote to the theorem. It's the single most important thing to understand before you ever use this algorithm to decide something that matters. Here's where this gets personal. Say you have a crush on someone, and you're the one thinking about making the first move. Dubbins and Friedman proved in 1981 that for the person in that position, the one proposing, total honesty is always the best strategy. Downplaying how much you like them, playing hard to get, pretending someone else is your top choice, none of it ever helps the person confessing. If you're the one making the move, the truth is your dominant strategy, no matter what the other person does. That's genuinely good news. If you're the one taking the risk of speaking up first, the math says you have zero strategic reason to hide how you actually feel. But Alvin Roth proved in 1982 that the person on the other side, the one being asked, does not get that same guarantee. Sometimes they really can do better by not showing their hand right away. No possible matching system can make total honesty the best strategy for both sides at once. That asymmetry is not a flaw in the math of who you like. It is a proven limit. Even a mathematically perfect system cannot make honesty equally safe for everyone. Somebody's incentives always end up a little sharper than somebody else's. Now, a real crush is not a clean one-shot matching market. People change their minds. Feelings are not fixed ranked lists, and nobody is running an algorithm in their head. But the core incentive is real. So if you have a crush on someone, the math is quietly on your side. Speaking up honestly is never the wrong strategic move for you. It's the other person, the one being asked, who is actually holding the harder decision. A mathematical guarantee is not the same thing as a promise of fairness. Stable is provable. Equal was never on the table. Card counting finds an edge in a deck of cards. This algorithm finds an edge in a set of preference lists. Different math, same underlying move. Locate the exploitable structure, then use it precisely. If you ever get to design a system like this, a hospital match, a school assignment, anything two-sided, the single most important design choice isn't the algorithm. It's who gets to propose. Because the math has already decided in advance exactly who that choice helps most. Stable isn't the same word as fair. Now you know the difference, and you know exactly where to look to find out which side of the table you're really on.